All right, this is gonna be the leg press, okay? Depending on your gym, depending on the actual machine, it's gonna change a couple things. It's gonna change on the angle that your body's actually laying. Sometimes this machine actually, you could bring it more vertically and more on an incline. You could depress it a little bit. We kind of find the sweet spot. The more you actually incline it, the more hip flexion you're gonna get. And that sometimes is actually very challenging for a lot of people to get into that position and execute it. So with the regular leg press, ideally you want the feet pretty much about shoulder width apart, okay? A little bit outside is perfectly fine. In terms of their placement, they could be a little externally rotated or straight, perfectly fine. And they pretty much want to be in the middle of the actual implement, okay? The most important thing here is as well making sure the safety is set at the very bottom, because range of motion is super important for us, okay? So what I'm thinking, the thought process we're trying to have here when we're doing this, as she actually presses the weight here, unracks the weight, she's never going to fully extend those knees, right? So when she comes up, you don't want to fully lock those knees out, right? You want to have a slight bend in those knees. This is usually how knee injuries happen, okay? As she descends, you want to use these handles to press your body into it to prevent that lower back and that butt coming off from the pad. Now, everybody has their active range of motion. Haley has really good hip mobility and ankle mobility. She's able to descend to pretty much the greatest range of motion, and that's ideally what we want. Pressing up through the feet. You try and want to essentially put the pressure of the feet, and you want to be pushing through most of the feet, right? You don't necessarily need to be just pushing through the heels or the foot, whatever's the most comfortable, making sure the whole foot is on the actual implement. It's not coming off on its tippy toes. We're going to have her descend again here again. Pausing and pressing. Let's do one more clean rep here. And perfect. One thing you have to understand is some of these machines might be different, and when you're descending, your butt might be coming off of the actual pad. So you're probably going a little bit too low, and that's something that needs to be worked on in terms of your hip mobility and your ankle mobility. But Haley obviously has great range of motion. She could descend fairly low where her knees are pretty much touching her chest, which is ideally what we want, and pressing up. And that is going to be your leg press.